What is up, good people? As I am doing some after actions from class, try to do some more of these little pop-ins. So, just got done with class this evening. We had our navigating BNCC class, so it was great. Spending some time with our peoples, and now doing some after action stuff. So my little post class, administrative things and all that jazz. So figure, so I'm trying to get into the whole, rhythm of popping in and doing more these lives and popping in like that. So the late night ones seem to work pretty good. This is just, again, while I'm doing admin, pop in, answer questions, hang out for a little bit, and then kind of go from there. So, perfect. What's going on, y'all? What are y'all up to? Hope you're well. Let me know the branch of service and years that you served. I always like to ask those things to kind of see what's going on. But great class. Had some active duty folks. We had some veterans in the mix. So I always enjoy that, and answering questions and giving perspective. So our last class of the year is next year. We are doing our whatchamacallit, CMP class next Wednesday. So that's going on next Wednesday. Hang out for a little bit, answer some questions, see what y'all are up to. Also, honorable mention, we're running our sales for the rest of the year. So that's happening for the next few days. So the link in the bio, all the classes that we do, everything is discounted. The on-demand course for BDD, active duty people, and our live CMP classes, that as well is discounted, and our one-on-ones. Appreciate you, Dustin. So what is going on, y'all? Yeah, but let me know the branch of service you were in, the years you served. Like I said, I'm trying to make a point to do a lot of more of these things. So on the TikTok side, thanks for the hearts and likes and support. Feel free to share it. Again, we're veterans, so insomnia is definitely a thing. If you're not following on YouTube, definitely do that as well, since that's where we may have to go if things don't go to plan with TikTok bans and things like that. So, have to have contingencies. But we are currently live across the board. So shout out to the Twitter folks, or X. Shout out to the Facebook crew. Shout out to the YouTube crew, the Instagrammers, and the TikTokers. So we are multi-streaming across the board. What is going on, Redman? Navy, 5 years of service, 92 to 97, rated at 40%. Shout out to you, my brother. It's crazy. We'll say things and we'll date ourselves sometimes. So I think I heard Redman, immediately you know where my mind goes, right? I'm thinking, oh, snap, Redman. What's up with you, my man? Awesome, 40, great. When's the last time you filed a claim? How long has it been? And also, weren't you just in the Navy like a few days ago? Like, that's crazy to me. Again, boot camp for me was 1999. It's like, holy cow, that was, some time ago. Or like my kids are talking about, they study history and September 11 is in their history books. I'm like, yeah, that was a long time ago. But in my mind, it just happened, right? You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Like, wasn't it just 1992? Wasn't it just 1997? You just ETS'd a few days ago. Well, wait a second. No, that was daggone near 30 years ago. Crazy, right? Let's see. Have I ever done a sleep apnea test? Yes, I have. Many of them, actually. So I am a disabled Army combat veteran. I am also retired from federal law enforcement and was an adjunct professor. I'm a founder of my organization, BNCC. And I was a first responder on September 11th, so ground zero. I was there, deployments, Iraq, burn pits, all that stuff. So I took a whole bunch of pulmonary test issues and things like that. So sleep test study, pulmonary function test. I've had all those respiratory things. I'm on more registries than I can remember at this point too. So yeah, fun times with that. Let's see, how long, long time follow-up waiting on my sleep apnea claim that I had surgery for service connected. Okay, when did you put that in, Bill? As far as your sleep apnea claim. Um, I've done the home test, and I've also done the overnight test as well. Did my CMP. It took 3 weeks to get posted to VA portal. My lawyer said it looks like I may get 70%. Check. Did your CMP happen at the VA? And I'm assuming it's for mental health. Yep. Let's see, but that could change. How does he know? So more so along the lines of like, and actually that's a great question. So let's bring it up. Let's look up DBQ for VA claims. So all VA claims. What did you file for? PTSD, Jay, right? Yeah, PTSD. So let's go and pull up a PTSD DBQ. Now I'm literally at the VA, so please pardon me. I just got done teaching class, so one thing I want to be mindful of as I do these things is also to make sure that I don't gloss over things too much. So tell me to slow down. Sometimes I'll kind of get in my rhythm, so making sure you can follow what I'm looking at. But I'm over at the VA specifically. All I did for those interested in how to do this, I just did a Google search because I don't like to obviously, I bookmark these things, but I just popped it up. VA DBQ. That's literally the search. The very first hit will take you to this link. DBQs being disability benefit questionnaires. These are standard forms for any claim you file. So when I click on this will take me to all the DBQs for whatever you're filing, so you can see them here. Specifically to the question you asked, we are going to go to the psychological, and we're going to look at PTSD. And, again, it's a standard form, so you'll see all the things that are here. And as far as what he said or she said that she saw specifically for you, it's based off of this right here. So if they're saying, hey, you're probably get a 7, the assumption here is that you have, this box checked off on the form, right? And this actually correlates with the CFR as well. So let's jump over there. So this all is really kind of in line with the other. So I'm going to jump over to the mental health rating. Again, all mental health goes under one rating criteria. And at the 70 range, right, the language here is occupational and social impairment with deficiencies in most areas of work, right? So that form is checked off with occupational impairment with deficiencies in most areas of work. So that's how we get to this point here of them being able to kind of assess what the examiner, right, has assessed from you. Now the rater still is going to be the one that's going to assess, and overall rate you, but based off the examination, right, this is what they assess, that your symptoms are in line with this box checked off. This box checked off hits on the symptoms. And this form will have literally all the symptoms and things checked off here. And you can go down, but here you'll see a variety of different things, symptoms, panic, anxiety. So all these things that are on the rating criteria, right? All these little key things, they're checking them off. So as they're asking questions, right? Did you present examples of having anxiety, depressed mood, etc.? So they're checking things off, yada, 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 yada. And then they'll be able to see from there, based off of where is more or less your occupational impairment, right? So that's where they get that from. On this here form. So page 3 of 8 will show that in block 4 alpha. So there's that part. Good question. BDDs. So regardless of if you're filing, so one great question was, does this apply to BDD claims as well? Any VA claim. These are all the standard forms. BDD, for those that don't know, is benefit delivery at discharge, right? So it's for folks that are filing claims, right? Benefit delivery at discharge, aka they're filing a VA claim before they leave active duty. So they're doing their CMP exams and all the things while they're in service. So that's what takes place, as you're leaving service. So the CMP, though, for the VA purposes, that will all be still standard form. So regardless of what it is, there'll be a DBQ submitted. It's their standard form, to assess you. So again, regardless of what you're filing for, like let's go, for example, to neurological, and I'm going to pull up, migraines, for example. They're going to be looking at, these things here, right? What are the symptoms that you have, that you're presenting, how often are you getting these things, where are you getting these pains, etc. So it's a standard form. So when I teach my classes for like CMPs, which again, shameless plug, next week is the next one, the last one of the year. So if you're interested in that, link in bio, scroll down, it's on sale, $27 for ACER CMP. Right there. Bum, 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 bum. Grab your spot. That's next Wednesday. But understanding, right, the rating criteria, understanding the DBQs, that helps you to kind of do your homework, know what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. There are no changes yet for the rating criteria. The proposed changes are still pending. That's been going on since 2022. And I literally covered that back then. So for my YouTubers, make sure that you check out my YouTube channel, same username, Veteran DP. And let's see here. Where is identify? I just wanted to look down real quickly to show the date. Sleep apnea proposed changes. So like literally when this whole thing of these changes were being proposed, like right now, you literally asked that. I literally covered that 2 years ago, right? Sleep apnea changes, what they propose, etc. So you can literally see that there. So I've been talking about this for a long time. So I'm just showing that more to say that they proposed these changes, and I've covered them over the years. So like you can go back, like when I have stuff like 5+6 years ago, etc. But if you go and sort through, you'll be able to see some of that. But specifically to the proposed changes, for those that don't know, what is happening is they've proposed changes for sleep apnea. They've proposed changes for mental health. They'll propose changes for tinnitus, right? And they're not going away. They're just changing. They've proposed changes to it. And I'll give you the quick rundown. For sleep apnea, it's not going away. All they're saying is it goes from required CPAP to the CPAP is not effective. So we're changing the language. That's it. So now we're arguing that the CPAP don't work. That's it. Mental health is changing from DSM-5 keywords, like I just showed you, to this WHO 2.0 that looks at parts of your life that are affected. And I cover that in the videos that I showed on my YouTube channel. And then for tinnitus, it just goes back under hearing loss versus being its own thing. So you'll file for hearing loss and tinnitus, and then you'll get it that way. That's it. You know what I mean? Like there's no like alarm of we're losing something. That's not a thing. It just makes for clickbait. It makes for, all these things. And I've covered that quite a bit. So you'll see that across social, even on my, whatchamacallit, I want to say on my TikTok and also on YouTube, I've covered that specifically. So like I'll show it to you right there. If you go to my TikTok there, it's literally pinned at the very top, the very first one here. Changes for blah blah blah. Are these changes going away? Like literally, like 100,000 views on it, and I break it down, and I literally am showing you, the changes that are proposed, and you can kind of take a look at that there. And again, it's a pretty long, it's a long video, but I'm showing you in there, literally where is the reference, where does it say that, and I'm breaking down all that. And I'm showing you the criteria for the new changes as well, so you can take a look at that. So I wanted to at least show you that. So again, that's also on YouTube. So go there. It might be easier for you to navigate that way. So I want to make sure that I'm telling my TikTok folks to make sure you're following also on YouTube, just in case, TikTok goes away. But hopefully that makes sense there for you. Can you go over CMP exam for PTSD? That's next Wednesday. Next Wednesday I'm teaching a class. I literally just taught a class now. So I'm just popping in and answering questions. So next Wednesday I'm doing my CMP classes. And again, more so because I can't teach a class. I don't like teaching classes on lives, only because I'll literally explain what is a CMP, what to expect, what's expected of you, all these different things. And then someone will pop in and be like, what's CMP? and I'm going to constantly have to go back. So when I'm doing Q&As, I just keep answering the same questions over and over. But if we want to actually learn something, I really advise you to just jump in the class, because then we're starting together and I'm taking you to the material together, versus just, randomly saying, hey, here are all the things, blah, 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 blah. So, just more things there, but I can answer questions you may have. So if you have questions about your exam, for sure, but as far as like, covering it, I'm a professor, so I literally will go here and like teach something and go down the rabbit hole, of all those things. So there's that, but I do at least want to show this because I think at least it will be helpful. So this is for next week, the agenda, and I'll zoom in here. So this is for my ACE Your CMP class. Again, I'm just trying to make sure you guys can see it. Next week's agenda, it's welcoming you, what my organization is. Then I cover what is a CMP exam, what to expect at a CMP exam, what not to expect at a CMP exam, bad CMP exams, what to do if you have a bad CMP, preparation tips, and then a Q&A. And I'll sit there and answer questions until you're blue in the face. So that's the plan of action for next week's ACE Your CMP class. So that link is in the bio. That's on discount. And I love doing the live classes. So like today, I did our Navigating VA Claims class, which is our basics class. And next week we're doing CMP. So so there's that. I want to make sure at least that I kind of answer some of that for you all. All right, let's go back so you kind of know. And again, our newsletter checklist for active duty folks, that's there. So I wanted to at least showcase that. Okay, let me see some questions. Okay, I just filed my BDD claim. What of your resources should I look at? You just filed it, so I would say, you could definitely check out, I have a BDD course. I have a BDD checklist that you can get here that you'll see. In our website, there is an actual live course there. So for those kind of going through it as an online course, you click on online course, and I have a whole BDD course there. And I'll kind of show you very quickly kind of what is in there. So let me actually show you what it looks like behind the scenes. So you didn't see it from me, right? Secrets. But this is the Navigating BDD course for active duty folks. And I just really want to more so show you kind of the rundown as far as, being able to see what is it that we have for lessons and all that. So here's an example of what's in the course. There's videos, resources, forms, go-bys, links, the whole 9 yards. So self-paced, you can do it on your own. But slides, welcome to the BDD course. I have conditions, how to file conditions, secondaries, presumptive conditions, tips, lay statements, buddy statements, examples, tinnitus statements, all these different things, GERD statements, BDD checklist is in there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So again, powerful stuff in there that I would highly encourage you to go get. It's on sale. I'm not going to tell you this because I know some of my teammates are watching. So a little birdie told me that there is a sale for the BDD course. It's $47. You see it right there. However, if you sign up for the BDD checklist, that checklist has a link at the end with a discount code, which takes you to 27. I'm not telling you, but I'm just saying. We thought we messed up because someone bought it. I'm like, $27? Why is it $27? Oh, they went and got the checklist and used that code. I am mad at you, Playboy. The YouTube channel, same username, Veteran DP, is the YouTube channel. So you can see that stuff there. I know that question came up there. So that's where you will be able to see all that we have there. And again, the proposed changes, all the things that we have. So the link in my bio will take you, again, to my YouTube channel and all that stuff. You see the icons there. Let's see. So I answered that question. Is it true DBQs from outside my state has little value considering one for sleep apnea? No, Redman, no. So it's probative value. They have to weigh all the evidence submitted. It is in the CFR. They specifically talk about the fact that you have, they have to factor that in. They can't just outright say, hey, we're not gonna, accept this information. No, that's actually not how it works. The fact of the matter is they're going to accept the information given. It's just more, sometimes we believe like, oh, they're not going to pay attention to these different things. Well, not really. They have to. They're going to make a point to, pay attention and weigh it out, right? So they have to factor it in. That's the biggest things. And again, they have to evaluate the evidence provided in some shape, fashion, or form as well. And of course, because I love, giving you references, I'm going to show it to you also in the regulation. So when we're looking at things like this, right, this is, I'm at the CFR, and we're literally looking at the evaluation of evidence, right? So the weight of evidence to be according to the character of veteran service is but one factor in entry into the determination. Legalese talk and jargon here saying that every element in any way affecting the probative value, your argument to the VA, right, has got to be assigned, the weight to be able to look at, to thoroughly study and make a decision for your claim, right? So this in English is saying, hey, look, they have to evaluate your stuff. So this whole concept of like, oh, they're not gonna, bullshit. 4.6, they have to evaluate the evidence, right? They have to look at that, the probative value of what you are presenting. So your personal doctor records, things that you have, that's huge for sure when it comes to that. I used ChatGPT and it walked me through the whole process, got 90. And that's, again, that's great, but I have a 90-year-old veteran. You know what I mean? So like, I have a background in technology. I have a degree in cybersecurity. I've used AI and all that stuff. My team, I taught them how to use ChatGPT. We use it with our veterans too. For some people that's useful, for some people not so much. The biggest thing for me is I don't like doing someone did this, so do that, right? I don't like that because I feel like someone who's not computer savvy now feels like, oh, I'm dumb. I can't do these things because you use technology and I didn't. I have an 80-year-old veteran who it took him 50 years to file a claim. Actually, he's right here. So right next to me here in this picture, that gentleman right there, where is he? Right here. He is literally in his 80s and he filed his first claim 50 years after service. Technology was not his friend. So different people, different needs, right? I'm not against anything. I just like to make sure that, hey, let's meet veterans where they're at. If ChatGPT works for you, great. If this works for you, great. How do you apply it to you? Great. Technology, super. Skill set, talking to someone, getting perspective, whatever floats your boat. You know what I mean? So, but I'm glad that that worked for you. JP8 fuel, I've also covered this quite a bit too. So when we're looking at presumptives, JP8 fuel specifically, when you're exposed to hazardous materials, this falls under TERA, which is toxic exposure risk activity. So now there is a new clause where you can say, hey, I've been exposed to these things, and that has caused me this issue. So I'm not arguing, part of my argument is like a presumptive, right? I was Agent Orange or Gulf War or whatever. But now the argument is also saying, hey, I was exposed to jet fuel. My job was that. Now I have the skin condition. Now I have these things that have stemmed from this. That's what I'm claiming. So I'm saying it that way because sometimes the veteran's going to think, oh, I'm going to file JP8 fuel, denied. I'm going to file Gulf War, denied. I'm going to file Agent Orange, denied. I was exposed to Agent Orange, and in turn, I have diabetes, Parkinson's, cancer, this, that, the third. Ron, what's up, my brother? So little context for there. For those just tuning in, I'm just kind of doing an after class thing. So I just got done teaching our Navigating VA Claims class. And then I had my team meeting with my crew, and then I'm doing some admin work here. So just figure I'd do a live, answer some questions as I'm sending emails out and doing some last minute things. Next week, we're doing our HSCMP class, last one of the year. So jump over and sign up for that. It's literally in the link in my bio. So there's that. When do I do my head-to-toe exam? Can I add issues? Blah blah blah. Yeah, you will do that also for your self-assessment too in the course. That's also in there for your SHA Alpha and SHA Bravo. So the helps, your self-assessment. You'll list all the things you have. That'll happen as you're exiting your service as well. So there'll be appointments they'll set up for you in the BDD side of the house. So that's a great question. Okay, and also making a point to make sure folks know that we're also doing, follow us on YouTube. I'll start putting more things there too, because obviously that's where, if TikTok goes away, where we'll continue, which we are there already, but I'm gonna get more intentional with that too. So if you're on TikTok, same username on YouTube. I'm just saying in case it goes away. Okay, let's see. So, okay, I know my team is also in the chat too, so they're answering questions. So, any of the moderators you see, that's also part of the crew. Um, let's see. Just want to catch up. Uh, 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 uh. Let's see. Okay, all right, got that one. CMP posted, got that. Got that one. File September 12th. CMP was last week. It went well. Doc said a report will say service connected. Fingers crossed, Bell. I just did my home test for sleep apnea and got my result. They said I have mild sleep apnea and they recommended getting a CPAP, medically required. That's the argument. Got it. But then how are you arguing it too, right? So that's the other part too. How are we going to argue that service connection? That's also key. Was he able to read the CMP and should he request it now or wait for the answer? I already answered that one there. Let's see, tinnitus. What specifically we're looking at? Well, I had my sleep test study, then surgery, then another sleep test study. Said I had sleep apnea. Okay. Do we know what the examiner will choose that? We know that the examiner. See, the examiner will assess on a DBQ what they were assessing, and then it goes back to the rater to make the final determination. Yeah, they can read the files if it's in the system. Some of them have access to that, Jay. The question was, can they read my files and things I can't see? BSOs, sometimes lawyers have access to things. Do just say yes or no when they ask symptoms? I don't like that. You know what I mean? And again, that's where I go back to my class. It's not a yes/no thing because sometimes they won't ask you anything. Sometimes the examiners suck. So we have to understand back to what I was saying will be the course of action for like how I look at these classes, my class specifically, right? You have to understand, first of all, what is a CMP exam, right? What is expected of you? What is not expected of you? What are bad CMP exams? Preparing for it, how do we combat a bad one? Because if I know how to do these things, I know what to expect. I know what I'm speaking to. I can speak to my symptoms. So it's not just a keyword thing because it's like fighting. If all you know how to do is throw a left hook, you're going to get fucked up because you're not going to see that cross coming or that uppercut coming, right? So we have to know the lay of the land. Again, that's just how I approach it, right? And why I want to prepare veterans as best we can for this process. But it's more than just answering yes or no questions. Yes, for sure, but you want to give context as to what the impairment is affecting you and how. Let's see. You also have to have a diagnostic criteria met for each diagnosis. Of course, yep, you have to have a diagnosis. That's one of the key things. Diagnosis, in-service event or stressor, and a nexus connecting those things. Let's see, where your code sheet would have that, if it's static or not. Burn pits, Justin, check. Also migraines. Okay, tracking what you're filing. They have not changed the rating criteria. Okay. So you have a CPAP. Will you get rated? It's really hit or miss, right? Because it also depends on what you are dealing with, what is the argument, how did you connect that from one to the other, so that falls into it. So we have a diagnosis, but how are we connected back to service? Is it secondary? Is it direct to service? So sometimes you get denied because there's no link to service. You have a diagnosis, but the argument for service connection is weak. Secondary, direct, etc. Let's see. You do great work, and your teaching skills are engaging. Keep it up, Jay. For sure. Thank you very much. Yeah, keeping it straight. And I don't like when people just want to say things. Like I want to show it to you. I want you to know, not just some talking head said to do this. Nah, man. I want to teach people how to fish versus giving you fishes, right? Can you get two separate ratings for sleep apnea and insomnia? Insomnia is going to be rated as a mental health condition. So if you have a mental health condition, arguably yes. You can have a insomnia and sleep apnea, but if you have a mental health condition already, PTSD, anxiety, depression, then the insomnia is not going to fly because it's already rated pretty much as a mental health condition. So you can't have more than one mental health condition. But if you have nothing, yes, you can have both an insomnia and sleep apnea. Again, you still have to have the requirements and all the things there, but answering your questions. We got the JP8 fuel. ChatGPT point was there noted. Dun 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 dun. Okay. If my intent to file, will I be eligible in case tonight gets taken away next year? Again, don't do that because don't think that way. It's not they're taking anything away, right? It's more they're proposing changes. So if you have a claim that goes in and the change goes into effect, first of all, they're going to announce it. It'll be about 2 to 3 months until it takes effect. And if your claim is pending while there's changes to sleep apnea, mental health, or tinnitus, they're going to rate you based off both criterias. And basically for anybody who's kind of caught in limbo, like I filed mental health, they've changed the mental health rating criteria. They're going to rate you off both, and they're going to look at which of these two are more favorable to you, right? So example, a veteran files for hemorrhoids. Under the old criteria, it's a 0. Under the new criteria, it's a 10. They're going to give you the 10. But if it was reversed, they'll give you the old rating criteria because technically you fall in that limbo area. So it'll be the one most favorable to the veteran. All right, let me see. Catching up. Thanks for all of the likes and follows and all that there. I just got my rating for bilateral plantar fasciitis and received 10%, thought 30 if nothing helps. And again, that's where, pushing back. So on that 10, they'll tell you, hey, you didn't meet the criteria for the next one, higher up. But in your case, if now your plantar fasciitis is at the 30 or 50 range, let's say, for example, you can appeal that, right? Do a high level review and show, hey, look, I actually showed that I do warrant the next level up. Because on the denial, on the award letter, it'll show you got 10 and you didn't meet the criteria for the higher one because you don't have these things. So you're now going to appeal and say, no, I do have those things, right? So that's the first step. Any reason why I would get diagnosed for sleep apnea, even though I got diagnosed from both the VA and Northwestern Hospital with a doctor's note linking my claim to sleep apnea? I don't understand the question. You're welcome. Any reason why I would get diagnosed? Are you asking any reason why you would not get rated? Just so I'm clear on what you're asking. You're welcome, Jose. Thanks for asking. Okay, so you're at 40 already, so what are you trying to do? Motorcycle accident on the way to work. Also have TMJ. If you're in service on duty, that counts. If they have an injury or disability, etc. TMJ, I see I also have TMJ, and the doc says keep your stress level low. Is there more I need to do as follow-ups? Are you ready for it already? For the TMJ? I didn't get rated. Okay, great. So, got it. Give me 1 segundo. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so it'll make much more sense. I literally just got done teaching class, so I'm just doing my after class kind of hangout. Here, trying to go live a few more times before the end of the year. So this is from tonight's class, one of the points I was touching on. And this is for the question of I didn't get rated because I had my diagnosis, both private and from the VA. So for people who are still, when it comes to VA claims, right, let's put this framework in place. Under the VA, we have the BVA, which is the Veterans Benefit Administration, the VHA, which is the Veterans Health Administration, and NCA, which is the National Cemetery Administration. Now, when it comes to the first two, the focus of healthcare and benefits, there are two different things. So think like Social Security and think Medicare. In the case of being diagnosed for sleep apnea from the VA, it's like healthcare. That doesn't equal a rating, even though the VA diagnosed you and gave you a CPAP. So enter the diagram behind me here. When we're looking at a service connection for arguments, Calusa v. Brown, this is what we're using to argue service connection, right? We have to have a current diagnosis. We need to have an in-service event or stressor, and we have to have a medical nexus connecting that. Not to be mistaken with a nexus letter. A medical nexus means how am I connecting my current diagnosis to service. So the fact is, you went to your private doctor. You said you went to Northwestern and the VA. That's just a current diagnosis. That's it. The VA diagnosing you does not fill in the box for these in-service event, right? So now am I going to argue this in-service event, right? Did I complain in service, or am I going secondary to something else, right? How do we file a claim? Direct to service, or is it secondary? So in this case here, they're assessing, yes, you do have a disability. We recognize that, favorable finding, but you are denied. So in turn now, you have to argue that service connection piece right there, right? That's what's missing. So you have the very top one of the current diagnosis. We got to hit the in-service event or stressor, and then a nexus to connect those two. And that can come by medical opinions. Nexus letters can come in handy sometimes. Not all nexus letters are made equal. So that's kind of what I would say. You can appeal that. I'm not sure what went into your claim. But again, context, right? Like what went into the claim? How did we file it? Was it direct to service? How long have you been out of service? Was it secondary to PTSD? Did we use weight as an intermediary step to make the argument? All that matters, right? So that's why I look at claims this way, because there's so many variables. To the question of the person who says, they're active duty when they got into the motorcycle accident, their argument is very different, right? You're still active duty. Check, keep your records, do all that stuff. When do you leave active duty would be my follow-up question. And then I would implore you to hit the link in my bio and download that free BDD checklist. The free BDD checklist is literally going to be a checklist for those on active duty who may want to leave active duty eventually and file a claim, right? So for those transitioning service members, this is literally for you. And it's going to be a checklist to show you all the things to do, the things to start working towards as, you're kind of in that window to leave service. So it's a great product. And then it has the link at the end for our BDD course, which then starts to break down the claim process for you that you can go on your own. So that's what I would say for the active duty question point that came up. And that the link to that is in my bio. So there's that part. For those just jumping in, let me know the branch of service you were in and the years that you served. I like to know these things, and it also helps the algorithm because it shows that we're interacting, and social media likes that. So I don't care for gifts and all that stuff like that per se, but the engagement and interaction, it helps. If you share it, it helps, right? So that's the biggest thing there. I got a nexus letter from Northeastern. It's secondary to an injury from military. Okay, so now is the injury from military, Chef, is the injury rated? That's the first question. Check on the letter there. But was the injury that you're saying secondary to, is that rated, right? That's something I'd be curious to know as well, because that also gives us context. Okay, yeah. So, and again, it could be a thing now where you put the argument there, you have a nexus letter in place, welcome to the VA, right? They also sadly get it wrong so many times. So it may be an argument to where is a nexus letter making a strong argument? In the denial letter, are they pushing back and saying that their evidence is proving more stronger? So sometimes it may be a thing where we have to appeal something, right? Sleep apnea does get denied quite a bit. So it is just one of those things that I see all the time. Some nexus letters are solid, some of them not so much, right? So I'm not discrediting the one you had, but I would look at the denial letter and potentially look at pushing back. What's your rating currently? Again, because I have different screens here, just for the record, behind the scenes, right? I literally have that chat on Instagram over here. I'm looking at TikTok over there, and I'm looking at YouTube right here. So I'm mentally reading, and I'm talking to you like you can see me on this side. So I'm talking to you on Instagram over here. I'm talking to you on TikTok over there. I'm talking to you on YouTube over there. So little fun fact behind the scenes. Let's see. Okay, you're going through this now. 2028. Okay, usually you have time. Biggest thing is, again, just stay on top of your care. It's not malingering. It's not reaching. It's just keeping records, right? You have records of your PT test and all the things, your boards and your certifications and things like that. Be on top of your medical situation, because here's the thing: you could leave service with no issues. Not everyone is disabled. However, things get worse over time, right? 5 years after service, things manifest. 10 years after service, things manifest. You never know, right? So I'm big on the fact of, like, keep records of things you have, because you never know if you may have something to file down the road. And that's a big point I always hit on, because again, we all think that, hey, every veteran is not rated. I covered that in my class tonight. It's not the way it is. Sadly, we have a misconception of this process. Army 19 Delta, 8 years. Salute to you, K. Owens. Appreciate you. Let's see. We got Army in the building. Jay Carter, 2000 to 2016. Wasn't it just 2000? Jeez Louise. You're very welcome. Chef, you're going through this now. Tell me what you're going through. Air Force, 2002 to 2007. Stuck at 80. What's the 84? Maybe we can get you unstuck. I just said 100%. It took 2 years, 3 years. Keep trying. 100%. And it's hope. It's possible. Again, my veteran to my right, the senior citizen right there on top of, in the behind me, it took him 50 years to file a claim. 50 years. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do what I call my little DP flying thing right here. Like this little gentleman. Doop, right there. That's me. And that's Dennis. Right there. Army veteran, Vietnam veteran, in his 80s. It took him 50 years to file a claim. All right? He was successful. But my point is, there's hope, right? He could do it. You can do it, right? S.L. Wiley. It took 3 years. It's possible. It could be done. You know what I mean? We have to instill hope in our veterans that it is possible when it comes to this process. VA sent me to a chiropractor. They did an X-ray on my back today. Will they share that with the VA? They should. If the VA sent you, for sure. It'll go back and you'll see it on your Blue Button report as well. My PTSD is service-connected, diagnosed with sleep apnea. So how are we going to argue it, right? Are we saying it's aggravated sleep apnea? Are we saying that your PTSD has caused weight gain, and in turn that's caused now obstructive sleep apnea? So we're arguing weight gain as an intermediary step. Different ways that we can argue these things. Active Guard Reserve, 18.5 years. Retiring May 2026. Iraq in 05. Kuwait Kosovo deployment. KMP. Salute to you. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you. Lachey, thanks for the likes. Appreciate you. CIB, etc. Started BHO to get behavioral health documented. Documents everything. True mental health treatment facility. 100%. And that's the biggest thing. Yeah, again, I'll bring it up here. And again, for those just tuning in, I just literally got done with class this evening. So we did our last Navigating VA Claims class that we do for that. Next Wednesday, we're hitting the acing your CMP. That'll be the last class on that. But these are some numbers that I'd offer to you all. And I want to make sure that you can see it here too. So let me actually move this up a little bit. But this is from the annual benefit report from the VA, and this is actually the stats. There's 18.3 million veterans, of which 5.7 are rated anywhere between 0 and 10 and 100. And there are 1.3 million veterans who are 100%. So I am showing you first and foremost that not every veteran is 100%. We believe that's the case. Don't file those claims because you're taking from somebody. Baloney. What you're taking from the Ukraine? Then they get another freaking loan? Stop it. The point at hand is, that's a lie we've told ourselves. That's not true. Because you're filing claims, that's why we're running out of money. Stop it. No one says that for Social Security. No one says that for Medicare. Like, stop it. But these are the facts. Again, not everyone is disabled. We see that. Not everybody's 100. We see that. But we have to know facts. Again, today you may not have a disability, but you may tomorrow. You've been exposed to things. It takes time for Agent Orange to manifest things in your body. JP8 fuel, it takes time to manifest things in your body. Gulf War syndrome, it takes time to manifest things in your body. I'm a Gulf War veteran. I literally 10 years after service, I had, GI issues, got an exam done. They did a SIBO test, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. And the doctor's like, did you just get back from the Middle East? I'm like, nah, man, I've been I deployed 10 years ago. And it's like, dude, you are like off the charts reading like you just got back. And I'm like, oh crap. Shouldn't have had that Thai food, I guess. Point being is that things take time at times to manifest, right? J card, okay, we got that. Air Force in the building. Okay, we got that one. Check, document all the things. Claim started in 2012 with 30%. I finally reached 100% PNT 2024 January Beach. Shout out to you. And again, I'm, full disclaimer. I love hearing, where are our people at. I don't celebrate ratings. I celebrate the fight being over, right? So like when someone Beach is sharing, right? He started at 30%. He got to 100 this year. I'm not celebrating that you went to 100. That's not a thing, right? Hundo Club. I don't believe in that. Congrats. You have diabetes. No. But I do celebrate the fact that the fight is over. I do celebrate the fact that you made an argument to the VA and they recognized it and you got what you were entitled to. That I celebrate because it's such a pain in the ass and such a broken system that people lose hope. And I know so many veterans. I've talked to so many widows. Trust me, I've seen everything in this space. So it's like not another one won't kick the bucket waiting for their benefits, right? Because the system doesn't care. You know what I mean? They're not calling for you. You got in 2012 with 30%. They weren't calling you, asking if it got worse. You have to come back and do it again, right? So that's what I celebrate: the grit, the fight, the success of being able to be done with the fight, and then inspiring others to get back in the fight who gave up. But I don't celebrate, a rating per se. You know what I mean? If that makes sense for y'all. Sleep apnea gone, type 1 diabetic, and working on reversing as we speak. Salute. 100% sleep, service connected sleep apnea, PTSD, anxiety, depression, right knee, left knee, clavicle, check. How's your diabetes coming? You got type 1 diabetes? Type 1? I have service-connected injuries for bilateral hips and feet, but now I'm also having knee conditions, feet, having knee pain and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so secondaries, so the question is about secondaries. When we're arguing things direct to service that you already are rated for, those are filed direct to service. But now that knee condition, that back condition caused other issues, that's a secondary claim. So to kind of put in perspective, those are things to consider there. So I want to make sure that we understand that. But yes, those are secondary arguments for sure. Again, for those kind of popping in, it is possible. Yep, shout out to my brother Ron. Literally, my brother Ron. Well, my brother-in-law. It is possible. You know what I mean? So trust me. Seen it, been it, done it, etc. But for those tuning in, check out the things linked in my profile. If the TikTok crew, if you're not following me on YouTube, do that thing. Same username, Veteran DP. I cannot control what may happen with TikTok, but actually it would help if I move this up some. So let's try it again. There you go. Veteran DP, same username. Yeah, jump on a newsletter. We just had one going on today, so quick to the point information. If you want to come to our ACE or CMP class next week, jump onto that. That's discounted. Then next year, everything goes back to normal. And you want to talk to somebody in my crew and have an assessment on your situation, that's there as well. Talk to one of my advisors. So, check out our website, check out what we have. A lot of useful information there, resources, all the stuff that we do. Check out the About Us. Literally, you will see my team. And if you see someone you want to talk to, literally scroll down and get a bio, read who they are, see what they're all about. Get some perspective. Again, maybe you want to talk to so-and-so or etc. The crew is there, so feel free to connect and reach out. I like options. I like giving perspective. So, some things for sure to look at. Let's see. From YouTube, Ron hitting us with, do not give up the fight at all costs. Keep pushing to get you there. And actually, there we go. He was able to be successful with his claim. As I literally had my wife around, which is like, what? Who we talking to? Ron? Yes, you're Ron. On YouTube. But same thing. Navy veteran, time out, etc. File a claim, and off you go to a thing. So it definitely is possible. But that's the whole point, right? Don't give up the fight, because this is a discouraging process. Let's see. You're very welcome, Jen. The VA, they love to drag things out. And here's the reality: it's just a process. It literally is just a process, and it's indifferent to anybody. And sadly, it just is what it is. So it sucks that it is that way, but yet here we are, right? But yeah, I want to make sure for sure that I at least share some of that. The goal I have until the end of the year in some shape, fashion, or form. Correction on that there. So when you get the checklist, you'll get an email a day or two later with the link for the discount. So that'll be there. But yeah, I want to make sure I'll pop in. So if you're following across social, I'm going to be doing a few of these, just kind of popping in today. Again, I'm after class, so I'm just kind of popping in, answering some questions, hanging out for a little bit, and also telling you over and over, head over to YouTube just in case. Head over to YouTube just in case. I want to be more intentional there, and have more longer form content. So I like that now I have shorts, reels there, and also it's easier to reference. I have so many TikToks and so many other videos, it's just hard to find things. On YouTube, it's just easier, sadly, for reference. And if you're not social media, guess what? Anybody can go there. So if you have friends, they're like, I'm not on TikTok, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on Facebook. YouTube, you don't have to be a member. You just click the link and look at the videos. So, I want to just make sure that I highlight that for people, but it's easy to reference. I've covered all these things for all these years, so check those things out. K. Owen says, true indeed, you got to keep going. True indeed. But yeah, good people, that's all I have. If you have any alibi questions, you got about a good minute or two before I shut it down. But it's a good day. We had some active duty folks in class. We had some veterans in class. People brought questions. They left with answers. And it was a good session to educate, answer questions, and spend some time. And then next week, we're hitting our ACER CMP. Again, we're covering all things CMP next week. So definitely tune in for that. What is a CMP? What to expect, all the things, bad CMPs, how to rebut back, yada, 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 and also covering, I'll put that right there, all the discounts that we have in place for all the things are there. So check those things out. Feel free to, browse the resources that we have, get some freebie stuff that we have there, and, be prepared. The year is ending. The biggest question is, did you do what you said you were going to do? Did you file the claim? Did you open the intent to file? Did it expire? Because if you did not do what you said you were going to do this year, then my question becomes, are we going to repeat that next year? I get it. Life happens. Things happen. You don't want to do this, right? You don't know how to do this. You're lost. You're confused. Those are valid points. But it's not a valid point when now you have resources, when now you have help. When now, it's like I can't reach out to nobody. Nobody's answering me. People don't get back. Hello, how are you? Oh, I don't have any place where I can go and understand and get ready for my CMP class. Hello, how are you? You know what I'm saying? Like we're meeting you where you're at, right? This is why I do these things this way, right? I'm not here paying some virtual assistant to answer questions online to just give you a whole lot of link in bio. I'm literally answering a question after I taught a whole class, had a whole team meeting, and I'm still going. I'm still here doing this stuff. I'm not relegating it to somebody else. I am the founder and CEO of my company, and I show up and do it this way. And sometimes people don't even know that. Like, oh, snap, you do this? I'm like, yes. Because I want to show up. I want to meet you where you're at. These things matter. So for 2025, you have no excuses. You have a veteran out there that you know, and they're lost in the sauce. We're right here. What's the holdup? All right. If what you've done hasn't worked, then what are you going to do next year? Right? So let's start preparing for 2025. Let's start getting intentional with what is happening. I know it is daunting. It's scary. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost in the sauce. I get it. But But you don't have to go at it alone. You do not have to go at it alone. Get perspective, ask a question, send a message. That's why this matters to me, right? In some shape, fashion, or form. Yep, we do, Fatima. You reach out, have a conversation, literally, like in my bio, have a call with one of my advisors to get an assessment of where you're at, and we'll tell you straight up, hey, are you good or are you not good? Maybe you need a class. And again, I like options. So maybe you just need to come to a CMP class. Maybe you just need the course for active duty folks. Maybe you want to have a one-on-one call with me because sometimes people want that. You have an hour of my time. Again, you don't have to talk to my team. I'm only one person, so I'm literally, like I said, I literally had a class. You know what I mean? For the past 6 hours, a class for about 2 hours, team meeting. So I can't talk all the time, so that's why I do these. I can talk to many, but I have a crew behind me. So to your point, Fatima, hit the link in my bio, and I would offer to you literally hit the link in my bio and go to my website and then go to the About Us section, right? And then look at the team. And I'm saying this because I like options. And what I mean this is, like, I don't know, Fatima, what you are dealing with, but maybe you want to talk to Amy. Because, again, I can't say it on, social media because of what it is, but she's a survivor, right? I feel comfortable talking to her because she's been there. I want to talk to Brian. That background, legal, law. I want to talk to Nelly. She was a VSO. She has a background. Maybe I want to talk to David, Army veteran, understands this process, been through it himself. Or Maria, she's a civilian. She's a nurse, married to an active duty person who is disabled and now he's out of service. Or to our chaplain, Vernon Cooper, who literally is a double organ transplant recipient, and because of his benefits, that was all taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Or Stephen, who just joined the team, prior VSO, who's worked on so many different areas of things. Like, look, the crew, I'm telling you right now, listen, this ain't no organization of, oh, we're veterans helping veterans. Nah, man, what's your name? Right? Like, who are you? What is your name? Like, I don't like that whole concept of, oh, blah, blah, blah. This is who I am. I never talk about it, but, get context. And I'm saying this not only for Fatima, but for anybody else. The VA claim process is very impersonal. You will feel like you're not too smart. It'll make you feel like you're lost in the sauce and you feel like everybody out here is trying to, to get one over on you. Well, if, people are saying it like options, again, you said you like options. I love options, but I'm a hypocrite if I can't give you options. I am a scammer if I don't give you options. I'm full of shit if I don't give you options. And I stand by that, because if I'm saying to you, guess what? Maybe you just need a class. Like, show me your options, because some organizations, not poo-pooing on it, they just want you to do one thing only because they only offer you one thing. I teach these classes every Wednesday for the past 5 years. I teach them. And if that's all you need, that's great. If you need a course, we'll create that. So different options, I like that. Have a call, take a class, get some freebies. It's, look, you see me, or ask me the questions right here and I'll answer them. So I like that. I like options. I like, meeting our veterans where they're at. But I want to at least, highlight that because it is a daunting process, this VA claim process. And I want to make sure that our veterans, feel heard, feel seen, and feel like I'm going to get support. I'm going to get perspective. I'm big on that feeling. I'm big on veterans reach out, and my inbox is always full. People are always asking me, DP, what do you think about this? DP, what do you think about that? DP, what do you think about this? DP, what do you think about that? Why? Because you trust I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm not going to bullshit you. I've literally been on here for, damn near an hour now. Yep, an hour exactly. I've literally sold you nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you the options of things that are there, so I'm, make a point to tell you. But it's not a, 60 minutes of, me pitching you to try to sell you some shit. I don't like that. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? If it makes sense, it makes sense. But I'm big on options. I'm big on, giving you context. To Ron's point, context, it matters. And being able to know, hey, got it. This makes sense for me. Got it. This is what I want. I feel comfortable this way. Because if we're going to file a claim about traumatic events or something very personal, you want to feel heard. You want to feel seen, not just to feel like a number. So that's why I'll show up. That's why I'll spend time here, because it matters. And I'm big on that, right? Maybe for me, it's like, hey, I'm going to go live, join the YouTube in case TikTok goes away. So I want to make sure I keep getting that out there. But maybe Fatima needed to listen to this today, right? Maybe it was Chef who needed to hear this today. Maybe it was somebody else who, got an answer that gave them assurance. Someone's freaking out. Are they going to take the ratings away? Is sleep apnea going away? Is mental health going away? Is tinnitus going away? No. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody just giving you a straight answer. That's huge. The VA gave me therapy provider, currently 30% for mental health. I filed for an increase. Is that enough? YouTube is Veteran DP, same username. Is where you'll find that there. And to the question for you, I would say for sure, Jan, next week I'm doing HRCMP, our last class. But you being at 30%, it's a symptom conversation. I'm showing you the rating criteria right now behind me, right? When you have a 30% rating, this is when a veteran hasn't said anything. Watch this. 30% means that I have mood issues, I have some sleep problems, some anxiety, and sometimes I'm kind of panicky. Let's look at it. Because literally, I've said nothing. Look at it right there. You have not peeled back the onion layers. You haven't really said anything, right? Because when you go to the 50 range, it's not that you're in therapy. Therapy is irrelevant. It's irrelevant because really the conversation, and again, this is next week's class, but for this, we have to look at, hey, how are we speaking to this? In my videos, I talk about 50 to 70 jump, 70 to 100 jump. At the 5th range, I'm arguing I have a difficulty doing something. It is difficult for me to establish and maintain effective relationships. How is it difficult? I'm explaining that difficulty. But maybe it's not just difficult. At the 70 range, I just have the inability to maintain effective relationships. I'm on my 3rd divorce. I've been fired 4 times. I've had 2 failed businesses. Things are not difficult for you. You have an inability. That's not a therapy conversation. That's just the facts. So in your case, Jan, it's now, hey, you got a 30 because you really didn't, unpack things. Many veterans are stuck at 30 because you don't know how to open up about what really is happening. Example, someone says to you, hey, Jan, make sure you go in there looking a hot mess, right? Neglect of personal hygiene and appearance. No, how about why is Jan no longer caring about her appearance? Why did you let yourself go? Why don't you want to be seen? Why are you where you are at? Is it because the chronic pain you are experiencing makes it to where I don't even want to be around anymore? I don't want to be here. I want to check out. I don't want to be part of this thing called life anymore. Or because of this traumatic event, I just am closed off to the world. Or because of that Sierra Echo X-ray, assault that jaded me and I just don't want to be seen. It's more than just, hey, I have neglect of this personal hygiene and appearance. It's that I don't want to be seen. I can speak to why I don't want to be here. I can speak to why my relationships have failed. I can speak to what actually is happening. But that requires you opening Pandora's box and unpacking things. And that's not easy. So when someone's like, I can Google these things, good luck. Because you can Google how to make a great, meal, but you ain't never been in the kitchen. That's going to taste like shit. You want to Google how to box, you never stepped in the ring. You're going to get knocked the fuck out. So I use these analogies to show that, hey, we have to get to a place of being uncomfortably vulnerable and knowing how to speak to symptoms. Again, everybody talks about this whole show up looking a hot mess. No, it's not that. It's why did you let yourself go? Why are you dealing with this? Why do you have the inability to maintain effective relationships? Why is it you can no longer commune with people? Why is it, Jan, you haven't called me in the last 3 years? We left our duty station together and you don't call me no more. We don't spend time together. I can't see you. You won't let me see you. Why? Because you've gained weight. You've let yourself go. You don't want to be seen a certain way. Why are you pushing me away? Why won't you let me in? Why is it every relationship you have ends the same way? Why is it you can't trust people and people feel that you can't trust them? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the reality, man. Like, this ain't pretty. This is deep shit. I can't talk about half of this stuff because social media, community guidelines. Literally, I start going in on this stuff, they'll literally cut my feet off because, it gets pretty deep. So, which is crazy to me because you could sit here and freaking show crotch and pop and twerk and all that crap, and that's fine. But you talk about the realities of mental health and the depths of detachment and depression, not good. But we have to unpack these things. We have to be able to speak about truly what we're dealing with, how it affects us, and how it has taken things from us in some shape, fashion, or form, right? So it's so much more. It's not a keyword thing. It's not a this thing or a that thing. It is a being uncomfortably vulnerable to speak to what truly ails us in so many different ways, right? So I would offer that to you. These are the things that I'll be unpacking next week for our last Acer CMP class for the year, which again is on sale for our end of year thing. But that's what it is, right? You have to know what is a CMP, what is expected of me, what can I expect to be assessed, how will I be assessed, what are the red flags of a bad CMP, what should I do if I have a bad CMP. How do I combat these things, right? So like these are things that we have to get, familiar with because again, it's like working out. We got to put the reps in. It's like boxing. You got to get in the ring. It's like running. You got to put the miles in. It's your benefit, ladies and gentlemen. It is your disability. It is a thing that's impairing to you. And you're not taking benefits from anybody. Again, like I spoke tonight and I shared earlier, when it comes to these things, these are the stats. There's 18 million veterans, of which 5.7 are rated, of which 1.3 million are 100%. The facts of the matter is, not everybody's 100. I'm not saying that. But this concept or idea that don't file a claim because you're taking from somebody is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's ignorance. Again, I don't care where you sit on the political landscape, but if you could write a fucking loan to the Ukraine for billions of dollars, you better fucking make sure you have money to pay the veterans who actually served this fucking country. The fuck? Please. So when the veteran's like, oh, don't file for that, or this is why we have these issues, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. It is past midnight, so look, call this the VA claims raw and uncut. Shut the fuck up. Because here's the reality. Where were you when I signed up? Where were you when I was injured? Where were you when I had to deploy? Where were you when I had to experience these things? When were you where I was violated? Where were you when these things I had to endure, I endured? So now that I'm going to file a claim, you now have an opinion on what I should do? You have lost your goddamn fucking mind. Because if I pay USAA insurance, if I pay Geico insurance, and I get T-bone, who the fuck are you to tell me I can't file an insurance claim? You've lost your fucking mind. And again, I'm saying this because you have veterans who, I talked to a veteran who said, I couldn't file a claim because I didn't do 20 years, or somebody said I shouldn't do it. Where the hell were they when you got injured? Where the hell, I'm saying, like, it's us. We are the problem. It's ignorance. So, no. Someone tells you they have an idea on what you should do for your claim, shut up. That's what you gotta tell them. Shut up. I don't need your approval because you weren't there when I signed the dotted line. You get it, Owens. You get it, Fatima. So, moral of the story, it's a thing where I want to make sure that we understand where we're coming from with this, right? My fight is not with organizations or the veteran. My fight is with the VA. My fight is with the failures of the system, right? And I highlight this. There's a 68% error rate on the VA side. Myth busting. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, give it to you straight. Call this VA claims raw and uncut. Because you got to call a spade a spade. I'm going to give it to you straight. I don't do this whole, hey, veterans coming at you live from bumfuck Ohio. Man, shut up. Hey, veterans, have you experienced a traumatic event while you were in service? Man, shut the fuck up. I'm going to talk to you the same fucking way I would talk to you if you were down the street. The same way I would talk to you in the fucking foxhole. Like, this is the facts. People walking around here all, high and mighty, trying to be all professional and all this other crap. Man, fucking nah. And again, I'm trying to say this for, impact to get the point across, because it's not about being vulgar and all these different things. No, it's just the facts, right? You know how many veterans literally just don't do a thing because they thought wrong? Man, listen. Can sleep apnea be connected to a head and neck injury? Yeah, yeah. Many things can be argued. Again, how, what did you experience? How do we connect that to a thing? Many arguments can be made. Is the injury, was that in service? Was that service connected? In turn, now are we dealing with this thing? Thank you, Trending, for sending that ice cream cone thingamajiggy. I can't even look at gifts sometimes because it makes me think of these NPC people. Oh, ice cream cone, love it. Popcorn, blah, blah, blah. Jesus Christ. Social media. But thank you. But yeah, it can be argued for sure. You can definitely argue those things. And again, right, is the injury, is that service connected? Is that what you're dealing with in some shape, fashion, or form? No, all claims, everything, all claims. You know what I mean? Like, again, back to what I was saying, my oldest veteran, literally at the very top, Vietnam veteran, out 50 years. So that's the beauty of kind of, doing it the way we do it, everybody. But again, even for the BDD claims, I'm talking about it obviously a lot because nobody talks about it. Like, just because you're going BDD, again, on this side here, I'd say, check out my link, set up a call with one of my advisors, go to my website. Literally, you can see who my team is, scroll down, take a look at the About Us. Again, pick somebody to talk to, all the things. It's all my link in my bio for sure. Veterans homelessness is at an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? As we all know, yeah. And many of these veterans have arguments of mental health conditions and things they experience which led them down this pathway where they've lost everything and they don't have their benefits even. And they have valid claims, but they didn't do it because they never knew. Because the system wasn't knock, knock, knock and saying, hey, how about this? 100%. In some cases, because they were told they're not entitled. What? But that's the reality. Ignorance, it abounds. You're very welcome. File for increase September, and it's been stuck in step 5. Is that normal? Yeah, it is, Jan. It's just the VA, so you can file an increase. I got people waiting since like the beginning of the year, so there's so many things at play. So patience for sure is a key. There's so many factors. Again, where do you sit in queue? Whose desk do you fall on? The complexity of your claim. Are things there done correctly? When you went for the exam, was that done correct? Do you have to push it back to the examiner because things were not checked off? There's so many variables. So patience, sadly, is a thing, right? Like literally back to the military. Hurry up and wait. Literally, hurry up and wait. I appreciate the honesty when you talk to us, that you don't filter just for the sake of views. No. And that's actually the reason why I don't get the views that I get, right? I'm never going to have this crazy following because here's the reality. Look, I don't look like the poster child of fucking claims, right? I don't freaking have that little freaking flag behind me looking all PC and, like I'm a veteran, right? And I like to just keep it real with our vets. So for me, my mantra has always been one veteran at a time. So I'm good. I'll talk to the 30 people on this channel and the 5 over here and the 3 over there. Because guess what? It matters. Some people won't do that because it's beneath them. Because they have to only have the big crowd, the big following, the big this, the big that. For views, to get follows, to get likes. Again, I'm saying follow me on YouTube because if TikTok does go away, then I'll be on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook like I am right now. Here, those are my links. Make sure you're following there because I don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. It's all about being able to, meet our veterans where they're at. And the reality is this. Why would I go live at this time of night? Because I know you're up. It's the insomnia hour. We're veterans. What the fuck you think? Ain't nobody sleeping soundly. We all up for a damn reason. I promise you, I go live at 2 p.m. Ain't nobody on. I go live at 11 o'clock at night, 11, 12 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning. It's a party. Everybody's like, oh shit, we all up here awake? Yes. Scrolling TikTok, scrolling YouTube, scrolling Instagram. Scrolling, Twitter. I get it. Hello. Hello, motherfucker. You're very welcome. I retire in 2 years, thankfully. And okay, Matt Hatter, start the process. Get the BDD checklist here. Again, it has a checklist, things to do. You can start, making sure I get this, do that, like a little battle plan. So I like that for us. That applies to you too. on the retiring side for sure. Can the BDD be tempted to change my DoD permanent retirement rating and then file for it? No. So it doesn't work that way. It's a whole different thing for sure. No. Because again, there's many arguments that can be made. So you have concurrent ratings and things like that do factor into it. So one doesn't negate the other. Yep, and I gotta be at work at 5. Come on now, K. Owens. What you doing up? My man Owens literally just said, yeah, man, I'm up and I gotta go ahead and be the link in my bio. Literally, the link in my bio is with the website that has the access to everything. So my website, all the links there, the classes that we have, which are all on sale as well. So, check out the free stuff, check out the paid stuff, check out the free downloads. It's all there. Plus the social media links there. So my YouTube, make sure you get to that one. Same username as well. But yeah, link in my bio, and our website as well. But Owens said, yeah, we up, we live, we here, and he has to be at work at 5 a.m. Like you said, insomnia. I get it, man. I get it. So, yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. Like I said, I just got done with class tonight, so I wanted to pop in and hang out for a little bit. Ron said, veterans reunited, and it feels so good. 100%. Let's see. What if somebody's already PNT? Is it worth to get more service connections? So here's my rule of thumb. I know you've heard. I have a video out there on my page where I literally am losing my shit, right? And it's this whole concept of poking the bear. There is no bear. First of all, some people will tell you you're 100%. Don't file for something else. Don't. First of all, you need context. You could be 100% PNT, but let's say that you have hypertension or something life-threatening, file for that. Because if it could take you out and you can file for it. That's the first part there. And it's not going to take away from what you have, right? If I happen to get a bad knee, it doesn't remove the fact that I have a bad back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how that works. But also ancillary benefits. One of my advisors, her husband has MS. He's a veteran as well. And he was trying to get some ancillary benefits. He needed some things because he had a back condition, and they kept denying it. And the reality is that he never filed for the back condition, also part of the MS. Once the back condition was filed, guess what? Now he's able to argue those things. So ancillary benefits, getting those things additionally that you may need for your conditions. If you need to file for that, right? So really for me, it's more saying, why would we file for that, right? It's not so much if it's worth it, right? It's more so, what are we dealing with? Is there an SMC argument to be made? Do we have anything that could be life-threatening in some shape, fashion, or form? Because if so, I want to make sure we get that. I don't care if hypertension gets you 0. If that ticker takes you out, let's get that rated, because God forbid you do kick the bucket before that whole 10-year mark. And now we have family members not entitled to benefits and stuff. So it really depends. Yeah, 40 as well. Sorry about that. That's what I've seen there for sure. Been out 25 years, need to start the process, jumping out those planes. Again, if you didn't catch it earlier, so that gentleman up here, let me do my little flying DP. Pop, 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 pop. That is Mr. Dennis. He's my OG, and he was out for 50 years before he filed the claim. 50. And I just had Carl, a World War II veteran who filed his first claim when he was 95, and one when he was 96. So there's hope, is my whole point. And I say that because more so it's like, 25 years is a long time. But if that old Army veteran could do it after 50 years, you could do it. If Carl could do it after World War II, you could do it. I went to go see Carl in Arizona, and I'm going to his records, and I'll tell you that I've been doing this a long time. And it floored me to be with a World War II veteran and see literal sick call slips from 1940 something. Like, this gentleman had records, and I'm reading some of these things, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, you got, anxiety written in 53. What? And you just not filing for this? Where were all these 3-letter agencies and organizations to help you? Come on, man. Hey. The VA has been jacking me and other veterans around, and now it all looks like it's a damn game. The VA is out there playing peekaboo and blind man's bluff and lying from 9 to 5. Man, listen. Sometimes we have to fight, and it's just funner to fight in tandem with support. So I get it, man. It is an uphill battle many a times, and 25 years out, to get back in the fight. It's discouraging, right? Like, I've been out too long. Are they going to look at me funny because I'm just now doing this? Nope. It took you as long as it took you to do a thing, but what matters is you can do the thing still. And I think perspective has to be there, right? I want you to walk away with hope. You have to, start the process, then start. Like right now, you have no excuse, because before all the things, but I'm telling you, start. Open your intent to file. Jump in a class, reach out, have a conversation, check out the website, check out the crew, go to the About Us, on my page, find someone you might want to have a conversation with, literally scroll down. Matter of fact, I'm telling you specifically, go down to my, click the link in my bio, right? So I'm gonna show you how to do it. Go to the link in my bio, you'll see this. Click on this little link thingamajiggy right here. When you click on that little link thingamajiggy, you'll see me catfishing you 60 pounds heavier. Don't worry about that. Click on the About Us and then scroll to the bottom and go down to Mr. Vernon Cooper. Vernon Cooper is one of my benefit advisors. He is a retired disabled Air Force veteran. He's also my company chaplain as well. And he was a gentleman that it took him 32 years to finally get on the business of filing his claim. 32 years. Lifetime member of many organizations, right? And he worked with us many moons ago, and now fast forward, he's now on my team and helping others, but he understands what 25 years waiting for something is. He understands what 30 years is waiting for something. You know what I mean? So for me, again, like, it's I want you to be empowered to have a conversation, have a call, connect, reach out, get perspective. Because again, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to have, that perspective of like, you know what? Hey, Vernon, this is where I'm at, man. Because again, and I'm not taking away from anything. Like, it could be you and me talking. Trust me, I'm going to take care of you. But I want you to feel like I now want to talk to this guy, you know what I'm saying? Or this gal or this person. Like, look around, feel comfortable, have a conversation, and let's get it going. Because, it's daunting, right? It's like, man, where do I start? How do I do a thing? Perspective, right? So I would offer that to you for sure. You're very welcome. Let's see. I just requested a BDD checklist to get the BIWeekly info. Thank you. You're very welcome. Yeah, for sure. You're very welcome. And in about 2 days, you'll get an email with a discount link for the BDD course. So you can definitely check that out as well, and you'll be able to get the discounted link there. And the BDD course, I was showing it earlier, it looks a little something like this. So literally it'll give you a rundown of all this. So this is like a little peekaboo of what's happening behind the scenes. Little intro to, and there's videos and materials and go-bys and all that, but this is like the navigation pane, so you see it. Intro, presentation slide, welcome, intro to BDDs, gathering evidence documentation, selecting conditions to file, secondaries, aggravated, and I'm teaching the class, so it's me recorded in there, etc. Presumptive conditions, I break that down for you. Separation, health assessments, I break that down for the active duty folks. Regulations and closeout. Then I have resources here, buddy statements, examples, layouts, helpful links and forms. I have that in there for you too. And some bonus things in there, tinnitus statements, headache statements, GERD statements. Then I have mental health symptoms explained, and then the copy of the checklist there too. Links of how to get certain things, where are those things, forms, etc., where to go in the CFR, where do I get this, where do I get that. So all that stuff is there. So it is plentiful with things, and I'm working on an on-demand, whatchamacallit, HRCMP, right? I love teaching live classes because I love doing this. I love this interaction. I love being able to do this. So that's one of the biggest things there. So I would definitely suggest you check that out for sure, but that'll come to you rather now that you have the BDD checklist. Okay, let me see here. But appreciate you. Filed my VA claim a month ago. No luck with it. Explain no luck with it. I left the Army 4 months ago. Oh, you just filed it. So what do you mean? Explain to me what no luck means. I got out in 2008 and got rated this year. There is hope for sure. Tiffany, literally, that's what it's all about. 90% unemployability when I get Social Security. Would that change? Nope, it won't affect that. Do you have someone that does Nexus letters? Yes, I do. MRPY. Look it up. Mike Romeo Papa Yankee. I actually have her. If you might have to go down my social media a little bit to kind of find it. But I did there's a video of me talking with a nurse, and we kind of sit down and we're having a whole conversation. And again, that's why sometimes I think this is me and Carl and his daughter on this one here specifically. But let me see, because I have a few videos with Tara. She has a great company. I know her. She's awesome. Gotta do so. I'm gonna link up with her soon and do some more stuff. But where is, again, that's it. There's just so much stuff out here. It's just hard sometimes to keep up. Honestly, right here. If you check out this video here, you go down how to talk to your doctors about your VA claims. Her company, they do things. They're a PA, a nurse, yeah, but a PA realistically, right? Or a doctor. So they're in network as well. But you can check out Tara, and her information is there in the video too. But she's awesome. Mike Romeo Papa Yankee. Look up those words. It'll pop up on your Google searches as well. But she's the cat's pajama. Been working with her for quite a few years, so she's awesome. I haven't had any messages back from the VA, and I can't even start school. So it takes some time. Again, you just filed it, so a month. Sometimes it may take some time for them to get back to you to start scheduling appointments and things like that. So it is a very, drawn out process in some shape, fashion, of process for sure. So there's that part there. So that's not too uncommon, sadly. It just kind of is what it is. So that's for the Nexus. Army vet outside Quantico reached out to 2 VSOs and crickets. Yeah, I was in Quantico actually for some time. I was at command and staff there for a little bit, the Marine Corps University. But I get it, W. Again, same thing. Burning was literally, waiting forever for, 3-letter organizations to get back, and it didn't work. So perspective. But look at us, we're here. No. They're very competitive. I think they're like under $500. But again, she'll tell you straight up too if you need one or not. So she's solid. A nurse, again, but they have to have like a background too, right? So it's not so much either that, but what's the credential for them to write a Nexus? Do they know how to write a Nexus letter, right? Not all Nexus letters are the same, because if it's lacking substantial things, like I have a course that I taught on Nexus letters too. I'm going to probably redo that too, about, how to talk to your doctor about these different things. So there's new things I'll be doing for next year. But for some people, how do you talk to your doctor? How do you get them to help you to do a Nexus letter, right? That's something that's I'm going to put together for you too. If I may ask for your raw insight, seen behavioral health once or twice, but never followed up in fear of side effects which have occurred, having to fight for jobs. Do you recommend getting seen regardless? And what is your take on being med boarded, preventing from reaching 20? So, honestly, the reality is that sometimes you got to ring the bell, right? The reality is you may not make it to 20. So a med board may be the way to go. And that's just the facts. Sometimes you may not have a chance. There are many reasons why, and to be honest with you, I'm medically retired from law enforcement. So I had a top secret clearance, toting guns, the whole 9 yards. And, I had to medically retire from federal government. So I'm saying that to say that it's not so much that I would recommend the help, the care. There's many reasons why you won't do it. I get that. More so the conversation becomes, regardless of care or being seen, do we have these symptoms? Are these things manifesting presently? Do we have a diagnosis? Because you can choose not to get care and still get rated. So it's not like one equals the other. It's a symptom conversation. So it's like saying, again, I'm being very blunt here, right? But I lose a leg. I don't need to go get seen to argue that I've lost a leg, right? I've had this injury. I've had these conditions. I'm dealing with these problems. The fact is that healthcare is just helping me cope, but I have these problems. These migraines don't go away no matter what I do. IBS is the IBS, right? My PTSD is my PTSD, regardless of all the things we're trying, of how my week went, and therapy and CBT and all that crap. So, it's more so speaking to the symptoms and then obviously having a diagnosis. You can be in healthcare, behavioral health. Again, the lack of it, there's many reasons why you may not, career advancement, all these different things. So there's many reasons why a veteran may not at times, go down that path, right? So it's very common, not uncommon at all, right? So that's what I would tell you. Let me know if that makes sense. I do have videos on the percentages for sure, but again, the quick nitty gritty, it's percentage based, right? So it's not a 50% rating equals, 50 and 50 doesn't equal 100. So for VA math purposes, you're not rated for anything, right? And you have a rating for 50% that's awarded to you. They're going to take 50% from the 100% of not rated. Now you have 50% rated. 50 is left that is not rated. Any new ratings are taken off the 50 that's not rated. So if you get another 50% rating, what is 50% of 50? 25. 25 plus the rated 50 gives you 75. That rounds up to 80, but you're still a raw 75. What now is 10% of 25? Take that 2.5, take it over. Now you're at 70, freaking 7.5. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it gets so difficult. Or let's say you're a raw score 90, 10% is left. You get tinnitus and say 10% of 10, well, 10% of 10 is 1. 1 plus 90 is 91. You're still 90. Now you have 9 left. What's another 10% of 9? 0.09. Now you're 91.9. You have 8 left. And it keeps going like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where that's the percentage way that works when it comes to that. To kind of keep it simple. So it's VA math, but it's more percentage, right? We're not doing the add thing, right? So it gets more difficult when you get into your 90% range, because if you're 90 raw score, you're going to need a 50% to push you over, or a combination of other things. So if you're raw score 90, and in turn now you have a 50% rating for migraines, well, 50% of 10 that's not rated is 5. 5 plus 90 is 95. 95 rounds up to 100. That's it, right? Hopefully that makes sense, right? I like to simplify stuff, because some people make this crap so complex. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let me see. Over to YouTube. RC, my brother, how are you? Man, you looking sharp, brother. You looking sharp as it gets. I filed for a supplemental claim, IBS, October 5. I was looking at the DBQ that was done at the CMP exam for that. The nurse practitioner said it was less than likely service connected. I noted that I had new and relevant information from a private doctor. And also my service treatment records noted I was given laxative treatments. Should I prepare for a denial? Yeah, so it could be that they're pushing that, because the opinion requested is it's at least as likely. So there is a possibility that you may be denied. But then now I would offer to you, RC, and again, I have to bring you up, brother, because you're looking too smooth, man. I don't appreciate it, man. Look at you, brother. Man, look, you looking smooth and debonair. Don't come in my live looking all smooth and sharp the way you looking, man. Got the whole suit on and everything. You got me over here all bumming it. Okay, I see you. But no, I would offer to you to prepare for either or, because if they're saying they're not giving you the IBS, even though you have a diagnosis, even though you have in-service treatment, what I was talking about earlier, right, specifically to the service connection piece, I'm going to go back. This was what I was covering this evening in class. You're meeting these things, right? So what you see above me is the Kaluza triangle, right? This is from a case, Kaluza B. Brown. And what was established here is the requirements for service connection, right? So RC, for example, has got a current diagnosis. Check. RC has complaints in service of this IBS condition. Check. In service of enteral stressor. And your medical nexus connecting it, if all the medical evidence is there, we're good. Now, if they come back and say it's not service connected, but we recognize you have a disability, they're saying the connection between your current diagnosis and service, it was weak, right? Even though common sense, I complained about it then. maybe then we're looking at having other things. Again, your private doctor provided some information. Was there a nexus letter given an opinion to connect those things? Those are things to consider and look at for sure. But I would prepare for either way, because if you do get it, then the question becomes, okay, what's the next thing? Is there a round two? Is there a step two? Is there another claim that could be filed potentially? And if they fight back and deny it, then the point here now is to see what the denial is, and then how do we attack that? So if they're saying service connection was the missing link, then let's double down on that, because it's not a diagnosis thing. It's more a service, denial piece. So we're going to strengthen that by virtue of, medical nexus letter, opinions, or what have you, right? But if it says least is likely, that's usually leaning towards the denial. But again, they're going to look at everything there, because they're going to also look at your records and be like, wait a minute, it's here. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So that's where it can go a few different ways, because the rate is still must rate. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. After my last rating, I finally decided to get the V to manage my scripts. As of now, 310. Okay. I got medically discharged 2020. 90% haven't worked since. Now they're not trying to give TDIU. It's an argument that can be made for sure. 90% still fighting for some stuff. Do you help with that stuff also, or is this nope? Old stuff, new stuff, everything, brother. BDD as well. So like I was saying, reach out, take a look at our page, take a look at my team, scroll down, see who you want to have a conversation with, literally, get a vibe for what it is. But all that stuff here is in my bio that you can do, request a call, check out my website, see the team that we have a conversation. Again, I like options, so that's why I'm big, Justin, as far as like, who do you feel comfortable with, right? Is it Vernon? Is it Ryan? Is it this person? Check it out. But yep. Thank you. It was asking because I don't know if I can make it 20 anymore. And again, I couldn't retire from my federal job. I had to ring the bell. I had to it had to happen. So, the reality is now preparing for the next phase of life for you. And that's going to be, mentally, you have to be ready for that, because the fact is I'm not going to make my 20. I wanted to do my 20, but I couldn't do my 20. Now what? Right? I didn't want to be this disabled vet. I didn't want to be this thing or what have you. So, but if it's time, man, it's time. And then now we begin the process of doing it right and making sure you have what you need to be successful. Thank you for the support, peoples. Let's see, last question. Do you recommend just following up the last 2 years if I can recommend just following up the last 2 years if I can steadfast till then? Yeah. And again, even if you're going through that, because I literally had a veteran I talked to for a one-on-one session, and he is due to get out in a year from now, 2 years. And his conditions, they came back and like, nope, you got a P3, you got to go. So he's being med boarded now, right? So in his case, there was he could tough it out or anything. It was go time. You have got to leave, right? So if that should happen, then we have to be ready for that. So even if you try to stick it out for 2 more years, document everything, right? Make sure you're getting care. Make sure you stay on top of whatever illnesses or issues you may have, because should they push you out, you have those things to start the process medically. And should you do your 2 years, then when that time comes, you'll have all the things you need, right? So prioritize you, number one, to get seen. So it really is one of those things for you, if it makes sense. What is the main difference between service connected or not? If you're service connected, you are going to be compensated. And if you're not service connected, there's no compensation. Check out some of your stuff. Definitely will hit you up for sure. W. Salute, my brother. Again, you know what I mean? I'm big on, I saw your mom sauce video, so free time. Yeah. I put a video up of my mom's secret sauce because it's the best. You know what I'm saying? It's a secret though. Don't tell nobody. And, I'm Dominican by background, so, I'll randomly pull out stuff and record things, and, and that's one of those things where, like, again, literally, I'm at my mom's house, recording a thing or putting something up, or I'm at the gym doing something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a regular dude trying to help other dudes and dudettes to do a thing. So, you'll see all kinds of stuff on my page, because, again, it's just life. It just is what it is, right? Again, perspective, real people, right? You know what I mean? sometimes I just don't like the impersonality of things. But there is a video where I'm at my mom's house and she literally has, I did a few of them with her. So one's like the ice cream thing with Mamita's ice cream, and then I have one where she made this little sauce that she does for sofrito to put on food. And it's like, oh, this is the best stuff. And she's like, oh my goodness, in the background. Here's David again recording something, because I just pull the phone out and I just start recording stuff. So literally, it's one of those things where I'll just randomly do these things. And it was my mom's sauce because it's the best. But I'm glad you got a kick out of that, my brother. I have 10% mental health. Do you help with increase? Yep, I do. Next week I'm teaching our CMP class for CMPs, mental health, and all that stuff. So I'll be covering all of that for next week at Acer CMP. But yeah, BDD folks, again, I like options. So if you're leaving service, we have a course for you. If you want to take a class, we have a course for you. You want to talk to somebody? Again, options. I like it. So, yep. Claim back pain, CMP, X-ray show lumbar sprain, arthritis, and degenerative disc disease claim denied. So let's look at, and this will be the last example, and I'm going to shut it down. So we have a diagnosis, Tiffany. What is the in-service event or stressor that we're arguing caused the current diagnosis? So in your case, we're looking at the lumbar spine and arthritis and the degenerative disc disease that you have. So we have a diagnosis, check, but now the argument that they came back with was denied service connection, right? We recognize, Tiffany, you have a disability, favorable finding. Nothing favorable about denial, but favorable because you have a disability. Thanks, but I'm still denied. And now they're going to argue and say, Kevin, appreciate you. You're still going strong, brother. Whatchamacallit, fell in the Army, went to sick call, check. So now, okay, so you have something happen in service, but the medical nexus connecting those two things, it wasn't strong for them, right? Or they dismissed it. So, and the appeal side now, let's look at the denial letter. Let's see what they're saying why they denied it. And then from there, right, we may have to include potentially, a medical nexus letter, and a medical opinion to help corroborate, to double down on the evidence, because we're trying to tie it back to that injury in service. So again, how much time has lapsed between service and now? And sometimes you just get it wrong. The VA gets it wrong so many different times where it doesn't make any sense. It's just sadly one of those things. And I talk about this in my CMP classes, but this is an OIG report, and in this report they say that the VA can improve the accuracy and completeness of their medical opinion requests. So in Tiffany's case, you have all the evidence in place, and the VA is saying that they found the following: 68% of the time the VA did not follow required procedures during this thing. In English, claims processors did not consistently identify relevant medical evidence. Make sure I can put that up here so you see it better. For the examiner's review. In some instances, they did not always use adequate language, or they did not regularly request all warranted medical opinions, and sometimes requested unnecessary opinions. Right? So I wouldn't necessarily say we go to a queue, because that's the play of last resort. I would say more, let's see now what was submitted, how was it filed, and in turn appealing that, because the fact of the matter is, if we now have established, the components of the service connection, i.e. the current diagnosis and the in-service event or stressors, now we will do an HLR first. So first step will be HLR. Again, I'm just saying this, I don't know. So I'm always very cautious about an HLR because, I'm just answering your questions. I haven't seen what you've done. So I'm always big on saying I don't advise an HLR randomly, because if you're missing something, you gotta get denied again. 2 + 1 is never gonna be 4. You're missing something. Someone doesn't have a diagnosis, you're missing something. The in-service event stressor, you're missing something. The nexus argument is weak, you're missing something. So that's what I would say, right? So, but if all those things are there, again, then I would argue to you an HLR would be the first course of action. If that comes back denied, then let's see what the reasoning is. Then we'll go a supplemental claim and add the missing things that they're saying that, may be needed there. Again, I'd say check the link in my bio, have a call with one of my advisors for sure. Same thing I was telling W before. If you go to the link in my bio, to get perspective, because again, some of these things might be more personal in nature, to kind of get perspective there. Hit the link, and just for your own edification, you'll go to the website, click the About Us, and scroll down and just kind of read the bio of the crew. Because again, maybe you feel comfortable talking to this young lady who happened to have been also a VSO, right? Or this gentleman who had this background and happens to be a chaplain, or whatever the case may be. So what I'm saying, like, look around, request to have a call. It's just an assessment, so you get some perspective, and we'll kind of give it to you straight, right? So that's why I have my team in place for that. But a class for next week also is something there to check out. But for sure, I would advise that a queue would be not the first thing to do. You don't want to use that card unless you have the things in place you need, right? There's a time to do that queue, but get a second opinion. Again, wherever it might be. Maybe you have somebody helping you, I don't know, right? Have them review that stuff as well and kind of let you understand why. I'm big on that too, right? Tell me why we're going to do a queue. Tell me why we're going to do an HLR. Tell me why we're doing supplemental, how we're going to do it, right? If they can't answer those questions, we got a problem, right? Somebody just asked me about, VA math. I just explained it to you. I mean, like, you need to be able to have support that can just explain stuff to you and just give you the answer, and also help you understand why, right? So hopefully that answers your question there. But for sure, don't let a year lapse if it's been recent, just for the intent to file date. And if it's been more than a year, then we'll just, still make a point to appeal regardless. Okay. Let's see. Shout out to my brother Kevin. Kevin says, "It's good to see you're still active." Man, look, we are trying to stay alive. And we're here. So this quick 20-minute session has turned into an hour and 45 minutes. So we knocked out class. Class was good. We had a good time with our veterans. This live was good. We had great conversations with more veterans. So I feel accomplished. But that's all I have, good people. Check out the link in bio. Check out the stuff that we have. All the sales on everything paid is up until the end of the year. So check those things out. But good luck. You're very welcome. Good luck on your exams, good people. Reach out if you need help. Again, links in bio have actionable things. So check that out. Look around. Find what works for you. Have a great night. Make sure that you are heading over to my YouTube and follow me there. And I'll keep saying that over and over. Same username, Veteran DP. Because should this go away, I want you to make sure that you know where to find us. All right? And those links obviously are also here above us, above my head, obviously, and all that good stuff there. Alrighty, have a great night, and we'll be back.